Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So here again I am back with another new video. As we know that we are studying the same chapter, the same topic. The chapter is subsidiary books and in that subtopic is double column cash book. So we learned about some banking transactions in bank and cash columns in my last video which I posted I think on Monday. So now we are going to see an example on that banking transactions so that you will understand how these banking transactions are recorded in a cash book. It will be a little tough for you in the beginning to understand this example, but gradually when you will practice on this example, solve it on your own with me, just firstly watch out my video, see how the example is being solved, and then you can solve it on your own. So that topic we are going to discuss in this today's video, like an example on double column cash book, that is bank and cash columns. So without any further ado, we will start with our video. So this is the example of double column cash book with cash and bank column. So let's see the example. Record the following transactions of Mr. Tejas in a cash book with cash and bank columns for the month October 2011. So these all the transactions are of Mr. Tejas. We have to record these transactions in cash book with cash and bank column of Mr. Tejas. Now let's see the first transaction, that is on 2011 October 1st. Cash balance rupees 25,000 and bank balance rupees 18,000. Now this is the balance, that is opening balance of the cash book of the month October 2011, and this was the closing balance of the last year's cash book, rupees 25,000 in cash column and rupees 18,000 in bank column as closing balance of last accounting year. Now in this year this is going to be the opening balance. Next, on third, paid for printing and stationery rupees 7,400. Next, on 8th, cash sales rupees 23,000. On 9th, cash purchases rupees 26,000. And on 10th October, deposited cash into bank rupees 3,500. Now, if you remember my previous video regarding banking transactions in double column cash book, I have told you in that about some contra entries. This concept I have explained you what type of contra entries are, and we have discussed about the journal entries of contra entry. Now, here it is the same. This is a contra entry because we have deposited cash into bank. So cash is getting reduced from us, and the cash column is getting reduced and bank column is increasing because we are depositing. So this is a contra entry. So we will write here a letter C to denote this transaction as a contra entry. So while solving in solution, we will remember that okay, we have to record this transaction on both the sides, that is on the receipt side and as well as on the payment side. So we will in beginning only we will write the letter C so that we can solve the example smoothly. Next one, on 17th, withdrew from bank for office use rupees 8,000. Okay, now here this is a contra entry. Now how I have told you what is contra entry, that is that transaction which is recorded on both the sides, that is on the receipt side, that is debit side, and on the payment side as well, that is on credit side. So we will mark over here this is a contra entry. So yes, in small letter we will write down C. So for our better understanding that this is a contra entry, we have to record in cash book while solving the solution of this example. Next one, received cash from Abhijit on account rupees 7,850. So what does on account means? That is on credit. We have received some cash, that we have sold some goods to Abhijit on credit. He has made partial payment of that goods which we have sold on credits. So that is why on account rupees 7,850 we have received from Abhijit. Next, received bearer check from Abhay rupees 5,400. I told you bearer check means it is a sort of check where we can make it in the form of where we can receive this amount in direct cash while we give this check in the bank for collection of the cash. Next, 24th, paid for cartage rupees 600. Now what does cartage means? It is a sort of transport expenses which is used to import or export raw materials or unfinished goods which are not completely produced. So that is called as cartage or transport expenses. Next, now look at this transaction very carefully. Check received from Abhay deposited into bank for collection. Now in this transaction no amount is mentioned over here. So now here the debtor is given. Sorry, the creditor is debtor is given from whom we have received the check. Now here the amount is 5,400. So similarly, the check we have received on 20th of rupees 5,400 that is being deposited on 27th for collection of that amount of rupees 5,400. So these two transactions are interconnected. Okay. So that is why this is a contra entry, because on both the sides this transaction is going to be recorded. Last one, on 30th, paid telephone bill rupees 4,000. Now all these transactions we have read out, so we will head towards the solution. So this is the format of cash book with bank and cash column. Okay. Now we are recording these transactions in Mr. Tejas cash book, that is 2-column cash book. So this is the receipt side where we are going to write all the receiving transactions, and this is the payment side where we are going to record all the transactions that we have to pay to the third parties. Okay. So let's start. The first transaction, cash balance rupees 25,000 and bank balance rupees 18,000. Now this is the opening stock, opening balance. So this is always going to appear on the debit side. So let's write here, on October 2011, to balance brought down, in no receipt number is given and no ledger folio number is given, so this we will mark it as dash, we will leave it blank, and the amount of cash balance is 25,000 and of the bank 18,000. So this is how we are going to record the first transaction. Next one, on the 3rd of October, paid for printing and stationery rupees 7,400. So this is a payment transaction. So we are paying this amount for printing and stationery. So this transaction we have to write down in the payment side. So on the right hand side we are going to write down this transaction. So on October 12th, that is on 3rd, here this is the first transaction, this is the third transaction. So by printing and stationery account we are going to write here, since we are paying for printing and stationery, so this is we are going to write as printing and stationery account. No voucher number, no ledger folio number, so we will write it as a dash. So here they haven't mentioned it as this amount we have paid in cash or by check or by other form of payment. So we will, as a default, we will write that amount in cash column, 7,400. Narration for this transaction being printing and stationery, being printing and stationery expenses paid. Okay, so after completion of writing down the transaction, we don't forget to write down the narration. So this is how I've written the narration. It is really very congested over here, but I hope you understood this type. Next one, on 8th, cash sales rupees 23,000. Now this is a profit for us because we have sold some goods to any third party and we have received immediate cash payment of rupees 23,000 against sales. So this is a receiving cash, so we are going to write that in the receipts column. So on what date it is? It is on 8th October. Okay, to cash account. Since we have received that amount in cash, so cash account, sorry, not a cash account, it is a sales account. Against sales we have received cash, so no receipt number, no ledger folio number. In the amount we have received in cash, so in cash column we are going to write the amount, that is 23,000. Okay. Next, narration for this being goods sold for cash. For cash. So this is how we are going to write down the transaction. No, this is the sales account. Next one, 9th October, cash purchases rupees 26,000. Now this is an expense for us. So we are purchasing something and we have made payment for that purchases. So we have to record this transaction on payment side. What is the date? On 9th October. By purchases account, because we have purchased something. So by purchases account. No voucher number, no ledger folio number. What is the amount? 26,000. Just remember, until and unless the mode of payment or mode of receiving amount is not given in the transaction, by default write all the amount in cash column. Just remember this thing, or it is a tip I would like to give you so that you won't make mistake while recording transactions. So, and also you will not get confused where you should record all these amount. Okay, so the mode of payment is not given or mode of receiving the amount is not given. By default write that particular transactions amount in cash column. Okay, now the narration for this transaction being goods purchased for cash. Being goods purchased for cash. That's it. Next one, on 10th October, deposited cash into bank rupees 3,500. Now this is a contra entry. That means we have to record it on both the sides. That is on the receipt side as well as on the payment side. So let's first record this transaction on the receipt side. What is the date? 10th. How you are going to write down this? To cash. Now what we are going to deposit into the bank? We are depositing cash into bank. So cash account will appear over here. To cash account. No receipt number, no ledger folio number. Now we are depositing that amount in bank. So the amount we are going to write in bank column on the receipt side. What is the amount? 3,000. 500. Okay. Narration for this: being cash deposited into bank. Now I told you that this is a contra entry. Now here you have to mention that this is a contra entry. So what you are going to write over here? C. You will not just give it as a sign nil, because this transaction we have to record on both the sides. That is why we have to write down this letter C, so that it denotes that this is a contra entry. Okay, so let's record this transaction now on the payment side. 10th October by bank account. Now here, why bank account? Because cash is coming into the business, into the bank. That is why it is a receiving party. So by bank account, no voucher number, but this is a contra entry. So here we will write down the letter C. So what is the amount? 3,500. Now we are receiving that amount in cash. So in cash column we have to write down 3,500 and just mark it as dash in bank column. Narration for this: being cash deposited into bank. Same narration. Deposited into bank. Okay, so this is how a contra entry is recorded in double column cash book. I hope you understood this transaction. So let's move on to the next one. On 17th, withdrew from bank for office use rupees 8,000. Now this is also a contra entry. Again we have to record this transaction on both the sides. We will do the same thing as we have done in the previous transaction. On 17th, now withdrew from bank for office use. Now what account will be affected over here? To bank account, because what is being withdrawn? Cash is being withdrawn. So to bank account. But from where we have withdrawn that amount? From bank. So the bank account will be reflected over here. Dash in receipt number. Since this is a contra entry, so letter C. Now what is the amount? Now here we are withdrawing the amount from bank, but the amount we are going to write down in cash column. Okay, we are getting that amount in cash, so in cash column. What is amount? 8,000. Okay, narration for this: being cash withdrawn. Okay, let's see the payment side. Similarly, 17, by cash account. What is being paid by bank to the customer or to the company? Cash is being paid. That is, they are withdrawing it from bank, so cash is going out of the bank, so by cash account will be reflected over here. Dash in voucher number and ledger folio we will write here C. Now from where the cash is being withdrawn? From bank, so we are going to write that amount in the bank column. What is the amount? 8,000. Same narration: being cash withdrawn. This is why we have to write down narration, to describe the type of transaction, like what type of transaction is taking place, why this transaction is recorded. For that purposes we have to write down the narration. Next one, on 19th, received cash from Abhijit on account rupees 7,850. Now here we have received that amount from Abhijit. So we will write down in the receipts column on the debit side. The date 19th to Abhijit's account. Since we are receiving it from Abhijit, so to Abhijit's account. No receipt number, no ledger folio number, neither this is a contra entry. So now here we are receiving the amount in cash. So we have to record this amount in cash column. 7,850. Okay. Narration being cash received on account. Okay, on account. I will write here in short form. Okay, now next transaction. Received bearer check from Abhay rupees 5,400. Now here again we have received it, so we will write here in the receipts column 20th October to Abhay's account. Since from Abhay we are receiving that bearer check, so the amount we are receiving it through check. Okay, received bearer check from Abhay rupees 5,400. So we will write down here in cash column the amount 5,400. Now why I have written this amount in cash column? Because we haven't deposited this bearer check into bank for collection of amount. So I already told you, by default we have to write down the amount in cash column. Okay, it is not being deposited into bank for collection, just we have received that check from Abhay, so we are writing that amount in cash column. Narration for this being check received from Abhay. Being check received. Okay. Next one. Paid for cartage rupees 600. Now here we are paying for transport expenses, so we have to record it on the payment side. The date of the transaction on 24th by cartage account. Since we are paying for cartage, so cartage account. No voucher number, no ledger folio number. Now here no mode of payment is given, like if it is paid in check or by cash, nothing, but as default we are going to write the amount in cash column of rupees 600. Okay. Narration being cartage paid. Okay. Next one. Check received from Abhay deposited into bank for collection. Now this transaction is very important. The check we received on 20th, that is of 5,400, which was not yet deposited into bank for collection of the amount, on 27th it is being deposited into bank for collection, so that we can receive the amount in person or by bank. So we will have, now this is a contra entry, we have to record it on the both side, that is on the receipt side as well as on the payment side. So let's record on 27th October to cash account. Now we are going to receive cash from bank, so cash account. No receipt number. This is a contra entry, so we have to write down C over here. Now the amount we are receiving it from bank, so we will write here in a bank column the amount. Now what was the amount of the check? 5,400. Okay. Narration for this being check deposited into bank for collection. Okay, so this is the narration for this side. Now let's move on to the payment side. Same transaction we have to record on 27th by bank account. Now bank is giving your amount, so bank account, no voucher number, this is a contra entry, so C. Now bank is giving the amount in cash, so in cash column we have to write down the amount 5,400. okay, narration, same narration we have to write down over here, being check deposited into bank for collection. Okay, so this is how the contra entry is recorded. Last transaction, paid telephone bill rupees 4,000. Now here we are paying this telephone bill, so we have to write this transaction in the payment side on 30th by telephone bill. No voucher number, no ledger folio number. The amount is 4,000. Narration for this, being telephone bill paid. So this is the end of the last transaction and all the transactions. Now we have to make the total of both the columns, that is on the receipt sides, cash and bank column we have to make total of it, and similarly of the payment side, bank and cash column, we have to make a total of it. Now whichever side it will come less, we have to subtract it from that particular amount which has the larger side. So let's count. Now we will firstly do the total of receipt side, that is first column, cash column. Now 25,000 plus 23,000 plus 8,000 plus 7,850 plus 5,400. So the total of all these amount will be 69,250. So I will write down here 69,250. I will write here, okay, and the outline to it. Now we have to calculate for the bank column. Now just do the total of this bank column's amount, 18,000 plus 3,500 plus 5,400. So the total will be 26,900. I have already did the total here, so I am writing the amount 26,900 is the total of bank column. Now again we have to do the total of payment side, cash column. So 7,400 plus 26,000 plus 3,500 plus 600 plus 5,400 plus 4,000. So the total will be 46,900. So here I will write down. Okay, now the cash column is, the payment side cash column is less than the receipt side cash column. So we will write down the amount here 69,250, because the amount of receipt side cash column is greater than the amount of cash column of payment side. So we have to carry down the balance of payment side cash column. So I will write down here by balance carried down to equalize both the sides, that is the payment side as well as the receipt side. Now here receipt side is greater than the payment side, but which column? Cash column. So we have to equal both the cash column. Now the amount of receipt side cash column is greater than the amount of cash column of payment side. So what you have to do is, what we got the total of cash column of payment side, that was 46,900, and what is the total of receipt side cash column? 69,250. So what you have to do is, you have to take this amount 69,250 minus 46,900. You have to subtract it. Whatever amount you will get, you have to write it over here in the cash column in the payment side. Now just do it. 69,250 minus 46,900. Now 69,250 is the amount of cash column of receipt side, and 46,900 is the amount of cash column of payment side. So by subtracting the amount of cash column of payment side from the cash column of receipt side, you will get the balance carried down to equal both cash columns of both the sides. So the amount we have got is 22,350. So I will write here 22,350. So this is the amount we have to carry it down, and this is the amount required in cash column of payment sides to be tallied or to be equaled. Okay. Next one. Now the amount of bank column is of payment side you have to calculate. Now here in this entire column of bank column, just one amount is written, that is of 8,000. This is the amount of contra entry on 17th October. No other amount is mentioned. Okay. So now what is the amount, what is the total of bank column in payment side? 8,000. And what is the total of bank column in receipt side? That is 26,900. Now which is the greater amount? Obviously the bank column of receipt side amount is greater than the amount of bank column of payment side. So what you have to do is, you have to subtract this 8,000 from 26,900. So you will get the amount carried down to equal the bank column to receipt side's bank column. Okay. Now subtract 8,000 from 26,900. Now we will write down the amount over here, 26,900, since this is greater, and you have to underline this. You have to draw a single line above the amount, and under the amount you have to draw double lines. Okay, so this is the format of writing down the amount in a bracket. Okay, now you must have got the answer of bank column which is to be carried down. Yeah, the amount is 18,900. So this is the amount we have to carry it down. Okay. Now this is how the total is being calculated or equaled. Whichever side is less, by carrying down the balance, you can equal both the sides, that is the receipt side as well as the payment side. Now this is the balance carried down in the payment side. Now this balance is a closing balance of October. Where is the amount? October 2011. This amount is the closing balance. Now in next month, that is on November 1st, since the transaction started on 1st October, so in next month also the transactions will open on 1st November. Okay, I will write down the date over here, and the amount, this amount is here a closing balance. But when you will go in the next month for starting with the new accounting period, this is going to be the opening balance in next month. So here I will write down to balance brought down the amount
22,350 and 18,900. So this will be the opening balance of next month of cash column and bank column. So this is the end of our example. I hope you all understood this.
So that's the end of our example of double column cash book. I hope you understood it, not just too much but a little bit of this example. I know it will be a really tough thing for you now, that how can we grasp all these things, how these transactions are posted on double side, what is contra entry. But as I told you, when you will practice it, you will definitely will understand it. So I am thinking about posting another video on the same topic, like one more example on this double column cash book, so that only one video will not be sufficient for you to understand right now in this initial stage. So I will be posting another second example on the same topic, that is double column cash book. So with that second example, you will get an idea that what all type of transactions are recorded. Like I will try to cover the transactions which are like regularly carried out in a business or in a firm. So in my next video, I will definitely will post a second example of double column cash book. So if you did like this today's video, then do hit that like button, share with your friends, with your classmates, whoever is in need of this example, whoever is in need of this topic in this chapter, share with them. Comment down your suggestions, your complaints, your queries regarding this today's video, regarding my last video, and subscribe to my channel if you're new. Click that bell icon to get all the new notifications of all my new videos. Till then, goodbye.